Alright, today I'm going to show you how to sew a slip stitch. So it's a hand sewing way to fix a hem or a hole. So all you have to do to start out is at one end of the string you make an X, or you can wrap the thread around 2 or 3 times around your pointer finger and roll it off of your finger using your thumb to make a nice knot. At the other end, you're going to make sure that it's not all frayed, so it goes through the needle super easy, just like with the sewing machine. Stick the thread through the eye of the needle. Once you have it through the eye of the needle, make sure you've got about 2 to 3 inches of your thread on each side of the needle. So over here, I've got 2 pieces of fabric that are both pressed. What you're going to do to start off is open both of them up, and so from one side of this first piece of fabric's fold to the other side of the fabric's fold. Make sure you get right along the fold line and as close to the edges of the fabric as you can get. You'll pull it tight, and then you will take about 1/8 of an inch gap and continue sewing, coming through the other direction. Now notice when I pull the needle through, I come and I grab both threads that are hanging from each side of the needle. Then I'm going to do the same thing again, 1/8 of the inch, going back the way I just came, going through both folds. And you're going to continue this until you get to the other side of your fabrics, where the seam ends. Alright, so now that I have gotten to the edge of the fabric, or what you would be at is the edge of your fabric, I'm going to show you how to tie off your stitching. You're going to take and make a loop with your thread and go behind the loop with your needle, pulling it through, and you're going to take your finger and your fingernail, more specifically, and press down right on top of where your last stitch came through. And then you're going to pull it tight. And then you're going to do that probably 2 to 3 more times to make sure that the knot is big enough that the thread isn't going to come out, that it's not going to go through all of the stitches again. You might have to do it a few times more than what I originally said. It's all going to depend on how large the knots are, as well as the type of fabric that you are sewing with. Then once you're finished, you will make sure that you've got all of the thread cut off from both ends. And when you open up your seam, you aren't able to see any of it. That's why it's called a slip stitch, because you aren't able to see any of it. And once you iron your 2 edges flat, this seam will lay flat. And that's what we're going to be looking for when I'm grading you. This is what I'm going to be looking for, to make sure that I'm not able to see the stitches along where you folded, and that both of the knots are hidden from the front of the seam. So you can't see my knots. Okay? That's what I'm looking for. I'm also going to be looking to make sure that your thread is all cut off at each ends of your seam. And that's all there is to it.